Okay, we're live now. Time for our weekly news show. And we're not going to be talking about the news that you guys been watching all week, the US election, very much, although we will give some Chinese perspectives on it. We're mostly going to be talking about the things that we normally talk about, which are the news that are affecting companies that are selling into China. We're going to be talking about some updates for the WeChat ban, some Baidu ranking factors, and China's 5-year plan, the Chinese government 5-year plan, as well as some other things. And it's me, Tait, Lawrence, and Phoebe here with you today.
Hello, guys.
So let's get on to our first one here. This one is just a quick piece of news about the WeChat ban. You know, this was the biggest thing that people were interested in, but it's been blocked and there's been no progress on it. So there's been no ban on WeChat. There's not really any major updates here. From this article from TheVerge.com, it says that a judge in California has rejected a request from the Department of Justice to reverse a previous decision allowing WeChat to remain active in U.S. app stores. So basically, there's still no progress in banning WeChat there. It's not being banned in USA. And from the article, it says WeChat will remain active in U.S. app stores for the time being. This is good news. Do you have anything to add to this, Lawrence, or should we just move on to the next one?
I think this is a quick news. We don't really have a lot to add up. Just a good news for whoever use WeChat, either communication or for business. WeChat is not banned, so you can keep using WeChat. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next item here. So this is a blog post about SEO ranking factors. And from this post, I'll leave the link for you. But it also links to another study, a very long study, where they took a whole bunch of different keywords and they analyzed the different factors that are affecting rankings. Okay, so this means they're looking at which factors are correlated with high rankings in Baidu organic search. I took a couple notes here about some of the ones that I thought were interesting or that are relatively high level. And these are, number one, a Chinese top level domain like a .cn domain is probably not a factor. I've said this for a long time, but one of the major indicators that this isn't a factor is that Baidu is Baidu.com. You know, Baidu is not Baidu.cn. And a lot of Chinese sites are not .cn sites, they're .com sites. That's one thing. And then another thing is, why would it be a factor? Why would a .cn site indicate that it has more value for searchers on Baidu than a .com does? There was a lot of advice out there that that .cn sites were ranking higher, or that you needed them even, but I always thought that was just not true. So this confirms that. Number two, the SSL certificates, HTTPS, is still not a big factor on Baidu, even though Baidu has mentioned it before. It's not really a factor. It should be in the future. They should catch up in the future, and they'll want this HTTPS for all sites, but not yet. Number three, the highest ranking pages tend to be on the www subdomain. Even though Chinese websites will often have a bunch of different subdomains. This is one of the reasons they do this, is because they can rank the different subdomains within Baidu. But it seems that Baidu prefers the www subdomain. Number four, this is pretty obvious. The sites that rank well on Baidu have Chinese language content on them. Almost all of them do.
Of course, it's like a Chinese website. You have to have the Chinese.
Yeah, but not 100% of them have Chinese. It's only 98%. There are some search queries that could be relevant for English language pages too. Number five is that many websites will only use 22 out of 32 characters of the title tag. because the title tag that's one main thing that's going to show up in search results. And they're not actually using the full title tag, they're using part of it. From my experience, I know that often they're trying to get exact match keywords within to the title tag. And finally, Baidu likes lists. They like lists of content, like unnumbered lists within the page, because it's easier for users to read, I would assume. Anyways, a lot of pages on Baidu that rank highly have lists. Now, this is just a brief overview of some of the things that were found in that report. But actually, in the upcoming week here, I'm going to have the author of the report come on with me, and we're going to do another session like this. I hope we do it live, but we're going to go over it in a lot more detail for the Baidu SEO nerds out there. I'm going to ask him, I'm going to look at this data, and I'm going to ask him some hard questions and see that I can get the best information on Baidu ranking that's out there, basically. So if you're interested in that, subscribe. Make sure you get notifications from YouTube, because we're going to do it on YouTube. But for now, Lawrence, Phoebe, was there anything else you guys wanted to say about this?
No, not really from me. Yeah, me too.
Okay, yeah, I'm the only real SEO nerd in the company, I guess. But we'll be looking at this in a lot more detail. Let's move on to the next one here. So this is about Ant Group. Now, you know that is Ant Group, which is a financial company from Jack Ma, the Alibaba guy. They were going to have the biggest IPO ever, and now they're not. From this article on CNN.com, it says that Chinese regulators stunned financial markets on Tuesday when they slammed the brakes on Ant Group's highly anticipated initial public offering just days before its shares were scheduled to start trading in Shanghai and Hong Kong. Ma's financial tech firm was set to raise $37 billion and become the biggest share sale in history. So that's, I guess, from this article and some other ones that I read, what people are saying is that maybe this is just the regulators showing Jack Ma who's boss, putting him on hold for a bit, waiting to just allow the IPO at a bit of a later date, like maybe 6 months later. Or maybe not, maybe it's something else. It's kind of it's kind of unexpected. It's unexpected, but not unexpected, I guess.
I have to say, this topic has been very hot discussion for this week, since Monday. Last week, I think Jack Ma has attended a conference in Shanghai for a financial conference. And in that conference, he claimed that China has no financial restrictions or good regulations in China. So he claimed that China is not a good place for financial sort of stuff. Like, he made that statement.
Okay.
And then after 2 or 3 days, back to this week, and all the major departments in China, the financial department, bank department, just called him for a conference. And actually, he is not the real holder for the Ant Group, but he is a real boss. He already quit as the manager. He's not CEO anymore, but he is the main manager for the Ant Group. And he got called from the government, and then they stopped his IPO, and we don't know when will be his next IPO for the Ant Group. It doesn't really sound a good news for Jack Ma, because I think you're probably right. The government is trying to show that we're the boss. You can't really see something like, oh, Chinese don't have financial regulations. You have to, act smart in China. I think that's something different in China.
Okay, hold on. So are you saying that you think this is partly related to Chinese pride? Like, he was trash talking China in particular, so that ruffled some feathers, and then they didn't allow it?
I think Phoebe just said no. I wonder why Phoebe said no on that.
Okay, so this...
Because I have saw some video in Weibo or some social platform to explain why Jack Ma's IPO was stopped, because it affects the financial safety of China. So
Okay.
The loan. So actually, the ant group, their main income sources is actually to have a loan, giving loan to everyone who have the Alipay. So I think that's the one issue Phoebe just mentioned, that the government was really worried about the loan the Alipay gave to all the teenagers, everyone who uses Alipay. There could be a financial crisis potentially. That's what Phoebe trying to say.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good thing for consumers to me. A good thing for people, individuals, and small businesses that can get loans more easily. That's great.
No, if I put my money in Alipay, then my money was used to loan to other people who don't have the
saving
to 偿还to afford 就是还不起的话，他就会坏账。
Okay, so what Phoebe is trying to say is, if you have money in your Alipay account, then someone else who don't really have a lot of money, and probably they can't get a loan from a bank, then you can get a loan from Alipay.
Yeah.
And if you get a loan, actually you don't have a job, you can't really pay the loan, then this will be a debt loan.
Yeah.
So in a long run, there will be a lot of money that actually you never get them back.
Yeah, it's my money was disappeared, but Alipay don't have any just
liability.
Alipay, you mean Alibaba and Ant Group? They wouldn't have liability? I thought they would guarantee your money in that scenario.
No, for the loan they don't.
For the loan you don't, but if you have the saving in there, actually you can. But for example, so what Phoebe is trying to make, the statement she's trying to make is, if you're getting a loan and you can't really pay them, then your money is just going to disappear. Yeah. So they will never guarantee on the loan, but they will guarantee on your money. So if you have a saving in Alipay, it's safe, but if you get a loan, it's not safe.
Yeah. Right. It should be safe for users.
Yeah, that I think is why Chinese government put a halt on Alipay's IPO.
Yeah, it's like P2P.
Okay.
In China, it's very tricky.
Okay. All right. Well, personally, like from what I've read and just intuition, I would think that we're going to see this IPO come up soon again, maybe a few months later or a year later or something.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is the first thing I'm going to show. This little trends search on Google tends to show up during US elections, and it's move to Canada search term from United States. And as they near the election time, more and more people from USA search about moving to Canada, and then it reaches 100 right around election time. And then it falls back down again after, and they calm down. I think that somebody from our team sent us this too, because they saw it on the Chinese internet and they thought it was funny. But a lot of Chinese people are watching the US election, and because it's big news in China, it's big news everywhere else. Poor Americans, they have everybody else watching what's going on in their country, but it's because the election there will affect a lot of other places. It'll affect Canada and China and many other places, and also it's just very entertaining. The choices that they have available for president are very, very interesting, I think you could say. So Lawrence, you were going to tell me some of the things that people are talking about online with regards to this election.
Yes, so actually you just made a hashtag in there. The words is quite small, so you're sharing a video. If you can just page up a little bit, let me share the pages. Yes.
Sure. I'll just turn the sound
So
off on that and let it play.
yeah, this one actually is from CCTV of China. So they're saying Trump asked to recount the vote in two states, I think it's Pennsylvania and Michigan, but the judge denied his pursuit. And then I think you have to see the comment because the CCTV only just share the news. They don't do anything, but the comment section is really fun to watch. So if you can just pay up a little bit
Okay.
to the comment section. Yes. So the very first the comment in there is very hot. I think the first comment is says for example, if you're just nobody and your friends Donald Trump is gonna lose election, so please write mail to him to comfort him. I think that's just mocking him up because a lot of people saying that after one night Biden received a lot of mail-in bullets, and I think that's just a schism in here. You write a mail to Donald Trump. And
Hold on.
this
What
guy
do they say?
received-
They say that people should write
Write
some
a
letters for
Yeah,
Trump
write some letter.
to help
Yes.
to help make him feel
Comfort him.
better. Okay.
Yes. And this guy received like 5,000 likes. And the second is, second comment is really nice. I think I like this opinion as well. It's not hard for Biden to win election, but it will be very difficult for Trump to move out from the White House. Yes. I think the whole world now knows that Biden is going to win the election, but we all know that Trump is not going to easily move out from the White House. I think he's just making
think?
trouble for
Right,
Biden's.
Right. Okay. Hold on. This word here, is this the word for the White House? It's usually used. It's Baigon. It's like
Yes.
like
Baigon,
palace,
yeah.
White palace.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
a White House.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have to say that as a Chinese, and if you just go through all the social platform in China, we're just all making fun of that, like U.S. election. We really enjoy the show. Like we're not taking seriously as like elections or something else or political stuff. We're just making fun of it. Like
Yeah.
we are very enjoy of it.
Okay. On Weibo, but
Yes, on
you
Weibo.
know, if we were to look on Zhihu or some other places, I bet we'd see some more serious discussion about how the election results in USA will affect China.
Yeah, you can see some discussion about how US gonna have an impact, who will be the new president, why there's so difficult to vote for a new president. That's serious discussion. But on Weibo, you just see people making fun of these elections.
Okay. Well, from my point of view, my guess about this related to China business is that it would be easier for business between USA and China with Biden than it is with Trump. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like it's going to be easier. I feel like it'd be easier, especially within the education vertical. Like, I mean, there should be less variability in whether or not Chinese people are going to be able to get student visas to study in USA, for example. It will probably be easier for them, but even if it is harder, I think that Biden would roll out the changes more slowly or in a more controlled way without so many ups and downs and just crazy tweets going on as coming from Trump.
At least I hope that Biden will not ban like social apps like WeChat, TikTok, just stop banning them. At least I think he would not be the second Donald Trump.
Yeah. I don't even think Trump will be able to ban WeChat though, even if he is president.
Yeah,
again.
yes.
Yeah. It looks like Biden's winning here. It looks like he's winning. It should be over right away here. So we'll know pretty soon.
And we will know pretty soon who will be the winner and whether Donald Trump is gonna move out from the White House.
Now Weibo is willing to see what will Trump do, because we think it will be funny.
Yeah. But even if Trump loses and I don't know, things go back to normal for him, he just becomes a businessman. The places that he owns, like the tourist attractions and hotels and such, hotels and restaurants and things that he owned, those are going to be popular with tourists, including tourists from China, don't you think?
No, we don't like him.
No, we don't like him.
No. They're going to be so popular. They're going to be so popular. Some people don't like him, but some people do. Some people do. And you don't need to, like, if you have a hotel in Vegas or something, for example, which he does, I think.
Yes.
He doesn't need everybody to want to go to that hotel. He just needs to have like a base of people that think he's cool or interesting or whatever that would be more likely to want to go there.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, let's move on to the next one here. So two articles left, and they're both kind of related to what's going on with China's 5-year plan. I'll talk about the new energy vehicles first and then the rest of it. But this one here from pandaily.com is about the new energy vehicles. It says, new energy vehicles are forecast to make up 20% of new car sales in China by 2025, according to a state council statement published Monday. Also, China's NEV industry is evolving from a linear model to a network ecosystem, where the chain of car part manufacturers, assembly, production, and marketing services being replaced by a multiplayer network, including players in automobiles, energy, transportation, communications, and other industries. So that's a bit wordy, but I think the gist of it is that they expect to see a whole ecosystem created to support these new energy vehicles. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities there for anybody doing this in China. Tesla is one big example, but it could be anybody that's providing the technology or marketing or any other kind of support that is going to build this ecosystem of vehicles that get their energy from the broader energy grid, which could be more and more involved with new energy and renewable energy sources.
Yes.
Right.
I think one critical issue you have to think about is new energy vehicles. We used to have a client that worked on us, and we did a lot of research for new energy vehicles. I think one reason Chinese government really hope to have the new energy vehicle sales rise in the future is to overcome the difficulty that the Western and Japan are taking dominant role in making cars, in manufacturing cars. We all know that either like BMW or Toyota is very famous, but for China, they can't really get a famous car. But if they are just making up something new, like energy vehicles, they can. I think we're doing really good in China now. You can see a lot of new energy vehicles on the street. It's very cheap, and then you can always charge them easily.
Okay. So you think that Chinese brand vehicles in this industry are going to become popular within China and outside of China?
Yeah. Yes, I think one news I saw the other day is that I think it's Xiaopeng. Xiaopeng is one of the famous new energy vehicle manufacturer in China, and they are selling around like I think a few thousand, hundred new energy vehicles to Europe. So Europe customer actually like Xiaopeng's design and like the cars. So that's an opportunity to say that Chinese manufacturers are making famous cars. So for example, if you're going to purchase a new car, if you think about like petrol cars, you always think like US brand, Japan brand, whatever. Yeah. But now when we're talking about new energy vehicles, despite Tesla in the US, I think all the other options were from China.
Okay. So you're envisioning a strong future for China when it comes to new energy vehicles. Yeah, I noticed you're already changing the way you talk about other vehicles. You're talking about the old traditional vehicle by another term. You're calling them petrol cars, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, I think for China itself, like if you have more new energy vehicles, you will have less dependency on the petrol. I mean fuel. Otherwise, you always have to buy fuel from like Middle East or other countries.
Right. Okay, let's move on to this next one. So this one, there's some room for discussion here because there's quite a bit of information in it. But this is a article from Xinhua that is summarizing the 5-year plan from the Chinese government. It's basically the Chinese government, they have these massive meetings and they roll out 5-year plans. This is the 14th one. And I summed up some of the things that are in this plan. Now, if you regularly listen to this podcast, this video, or read our newsletter, I don't think anything here is going to come as a surprise, really. But it is a good opportunity to sum up some of the things that are going on. So I'll read a little bit from here first. It says that the country aims to realize sustained and healthy economic development on the basis of a marked improvement in quality and efficiency, with gross potentials to be fully tapped. Yeah, so I don't know that really says a whole lot. It just means that they want to get better and more efficient, etc. I'll read on.
I think one point in here is related to the new energy vehicles. I don't want to really talk about the new energy vehicle one more time, but if you check the statement in here, to realize sustained and healthy economy development on the basis of a market improvement in quality and efficiency. When you talk about like sustain, you think about something you can going on for a long time. And when you talk about like development in economic, we know that you can have more manufacturers in new energy vehicles that will have more jobs for people.
Yeah.
So it's still hard to to take a guess on like what this article or this statement are really trying to say. This is a more or less a guidance for the next 5 years.
Yeah, they do get more specific in the other points here too, though. I'll read some more of it. It says that the domestic market will become stronger, the economic structure will be further improved, and innovation capacity will be significantly strengthened. The industrial base will be upgraded, and the industrial chain will be further modernized according to the Communique, their publication. Okay. Okay. Now, some other points from here. They aim for balanced development between urban and rural areas. And we see the maybe a more rapid improvement or more rapid changes going on in China's rural areas now. Because, for example, recently we talked about who was coming online in China nowadays. And it was the people in rural areas and the older people, because everybody else is already online. So that's where the opportunities are. So we'll see more opportunities for foreign businesses to sell into the rural areas as they become better developed. And also, like, I think we'll see more opportunity to work with people in rural areas. All right. So here's another thing. I'll ask Lawrence and Phoebe their opinion on this. One of the things they say is that core socialist values shall be embraced by the people, which it's not a shocking thing to see. They publish this stuff all the time. They always talk about that. But this is in the middle of an article that is all about how they're going to improve the market economy and use capitalism basically to improve China and make China stronger. So what socialist values are they really talking about?
I think for the socialist value, they're talking here is, I think, working together to have, I think we have a slogan for the Communist Party, like 和平，就是那个16个那个字母
16那个
友好和谐。
那个算吗？
I think there is a slogan for the Chinese Communist Party, and they're considering it as a socialist values. I think that's like peace, cooperate, friendly. Yes.
Yeah.
精神文明建设. Yes, that's a right word. Spiritual culture, some stuff. So we are trying to build the whole society in cooperate values.
Okay. One of the things that I see here is when I hear about socialist values, some of those values are just values that are the same between socialism and capitalism or other systems. They seem like they could be platitudes, or I don't know. I don't see them reflected in these economic policies so much.
I think for either socialist or capitalism, I think for China now, it's not a really socialist country. In my point of view, I would call it half socialist and half capitalism,
Right.
because China as a government is really, I would say, having a control in the market overall. Unlike in Western countries where you have the free market anytime, and the government barely involved into marketing itself. But in China, give a plan for the market to have a guide.
Okay.
I think that's the difference between like a political system. I can't really tell.
Right. Yeah. I think you hit on one of the key points there, is that they are making a plan for the economy. Now, most of that plan is going to be implemented in a capitalist way, but the government will still decide how to regulate things, what kind of industries to subsidize and support, and they provide some guidance for it. And that's one of the ways that their socialist values are expressed. So, as an example, another piece of news I came across this week is that they're creating a university for semiconductor technology in Nanjing, and that's specifically because the government is worried that they will lose access to this technology because of the trade war with USA, and they want to develop it internally. So they're going to subsidize that. They're going to invest in it heavily and make sure that they have that ability internally to create great technology within China. There's a lot else in this article, but I feel like the trends here are that it's talking about a China that is stronger, more efficient, nice to live in, less poverty, better environment. Environment comes up over and over again, and better quality of life comes up. It comes up more often now than it used to in the past. One other little phrase here that I thought was interesting is that they talked about, they said, improve socialist democracy. Okay, so there's that socialist word again, but also democracy. But that's not really what's going on here. But they do use that phrasing. Was there anything else in this from this article or from the recent 5-year planning that you guys thought was interesting?
No, I think one day we probably can go deeper with the 5-year plan. I think there's a lot of detail going on with the 5-year plan, but for now, I think
Okay. The sound from you actually kind of cut up for me here. So I am going to wrap it up here anyways, because this is pretty much the end for us. And if some people are interested in watching this live, come join us live next week. We do it on YouTube Live. Otherwise, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe via whatever podcast platform you're using. I'd be glad to hear your feedback too. Also, keep in mind that we're going to be doing another live session to talk about SEO in particular sometime this week. Thanks, and I'll see you later.